Quadrilateral is what, Savannah Vickery? Yep, anything with four sides is a quadrilateral. Anything with four sides is a quadrilateral. And you know some of the basic ones there. You know the one that has four equal sides. Well, there's actually two that have four equal sides. What are they? Cube, square. No. This is a square. A square has four equal sides and four right angles. Well, this thing here just has four equal sides, but not four right angles. That is called a rhombus. We have this thing here, which is a parallelogram. And it just has two sets of parallel lines. And we have this one that has only one set of parallel lines. What's that guy called? A trapezoid. One set of parallel lines. We've done this before, right? Sure, why not? Now, what the book wants you to think about is there is some overlap in sort of all these things. In other words, a square, by definition, is a parallelogram, right? Because it has the only thing it takes to be a parallelogram is you just have to have two sets of parallel sides. So that means a square is a parallelogram, as is a rhombus. Is a trapezoid a parallelogram? No. And one way that you can show how all those things are kind of intermingled is by, write this down, is by a Venn diagram. Okay. And that's when you see, you've done these before, I'm sure, haven't you? Yes, we have. That's when you see like this. You've got this great big circle. This great big circle contains all of, let's make them all the parallelograms. Every parallelogram you could have fits inside that circle. Okay? What were the different types of parallelograms we can have? Okay, you can have a square. All squares are inside this parallelogram. Why? Because all squares are parallelograms. What other types of parallelograms can I have? A rhombus. Now, here's a question for you. Are all squares rhombuses or are all rhombuses squares? So, if I was to show that, are all rhombuses parallelograms? So how would I show that using a Venn diagram in a circle? Is every square a rhombus?
Yes.
Yes. Is every rhombus a square?
No.
No. So you would have to draw another circle here. Okay, and that would be the rhombuses. It gets a little complicated because we're going to do a little bit more than whatever, but that shows that inside the rhombuses, every square has to be a rhombus, but not, there could be a rhombus that sits outside my little square circle there. What about a rectangle? Is a square by definition a rectangle? Did I put rectangles down?
No.
We should do that. Let's go back to that. What is the definition of a rectangle? A rectangle just has to have four right angles. correct? So if I look at my Venn diagram, let's get a little creative here. We know that, and I don't think I can do this because I think I'm mixing too many shapes in here. Every square has to be a rectangle, right? Yes or no? Yes, but does every rectangle have to be a square?
No.
No, so how would you show that? I think I gotta get rid of my rhombus. Can I get rid of my rhombus? Because I don't think I could mix that many things together. Oh boy, it's not gonna let me do it, is it? Oops, let's just do that with a square. How would I show that every square is a rectangle, but not every rectangle is? There's where I would draw my little thing here. Here's my rectangles. And if I were doing a rhombus, what would I do? Any square that is a rectangle is also going to be a rhombus. So really, if you were doing this, you would draw this circle here. And right there would be my rhombuses. Right, because that would mean every rhombus that I put right here is also a rectangle, is also a square. But a rhombus over here that just looks like that would not be. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? What's that? It's kind of freaky, isn't it?
It's confusing.
Well, and here's just what the gist of this would be. If I drew a rectangle that, I'm going to draw a different color. If I drew a rectangle that looked like this, it fits right here. It's not a square, so it doesn't go in the circle of the square. Any square here that looks like this will fit the definition of a rectangle because it has 4 right angles. Fits the definition of a square because it's all equal sides of 4 right angles. Fits the definition of a rhombus because a rhombus just has 4 equal sides. So it's kind of like they're all interwoven. What shape would go right here? And what would the rhombus look like? The rhombus would just look like a little rhombus like this. Because that rhombus is not a rectangle, it's not a square. What would go out here in the parallelograms that isn't a rectangle, square, or rhombus? What could you draw out here? What would it look like? It would just be the rectangles or the parallelograms that are like that. So you get kind of mixing and the matching of all that sort of stuff. You know, if that doesn't really float it for you, let's not necessarily worry about that. Take out a blank piece of paper again. We're going to talk about a couple other things.